here from Baked Shrimp, here to give you all a rig rundown. A lot of times on the road, get out a lot of questions about the rig, and thought it'd be cool just to do one of these videos and let you know what's going on. So start right here with this guy, right? So this is a very common question I get a lot of. What is this? So this is my first custom guitar. Call it the Wrench. It was built for me in Austin, Texas by Chris Forsage. It's a Forsage guitar, fully hollow, my first fully hollow guitar. Before this guy, I was using the PRS semi-hollow. Had this for pretty much all of Baked Shrimp's touring years since 2017. And then the Wrench I just got in April of 2022. So it's coming up on its 1-year anniversary, which is super exciting. Fully hollow. It's got the extra 2 frets up here. So that was something I got used to, having that high E, right? Got Lawler high wind Imperial pickups in it. Could make it kind of like a single coil sound with these guys. These switches, lift the volume knobs up and down, so like single coil. Now this is just the usual, a little louder, more beefier. I tend to lean towards this more during the live shows. So just a really gorgeous instrument. 3 woods, myrtle, mahogany, and maple. The mandolin cutaway. One of the best parts about it actually is for backstage when I'm practicing, getting ready for the show. I'm able to turn these volume knobs, well, turn them down for now, but super loud, almost like an acoustic instrument. Usually I would have to be doing this, but now I don't have to do that anymore. I can just hang out backstage and rehearse material for the show. Not have to worry about not being able to hear what I'm playing. I'll move over to this side of the rig, the main pedal board. Just I've compacted it all. I used to have like pedals off to the side and stuff, but now I'm able to get it all into one spot. Kind of go down the line here. Got the good old Polytune, all right? Mini wah. So I love all the mini pedals. I'm a big mini pedal guy. The Crybaby was one of the ones that was the full size I used to have, but I thought it was taking way too much space, so I switched to the mini wah. Classic. Tube Screamer has never left my rig. For as long as I've been touring, I've never not had a Tube Screamer. Just a great overdrive pedal. Then the Soul Food I picked up a little more recently. This is more, so the Tube Screamer can for me personally, I use the Tube Screamer both for leads and for rhythm sections. So like a chorus of like Down the Drain, I'll have the Tube Screamer going. And it also works just to do leads on. Soul Food, though, I don't typically use it as much for rhythm sections. I try to keep that one a little bit cleaner. And what I really like about it is it packs more of a punch, I feel like. If I'm really trying to get a solo over the top of the mix, I'll typically step on the Soul Food. Then the Clean Boost over here is really just handy. I just need that little extra kick over. Maybe my amp wasn't really dialed in right that night. I just need that little extra push. Also just good for clean solos. Right. Coming over here, we have Trellicopter. That's more straight of an effect. Get a little spacey with that. Sometimes I like to combine it with phase, right? You get a very watery tone, good for like those cool kind of jam sections where you get ambient and whatnot. The bass pedal I picked up probably 3 years ago. Very reliable. But it's a cool effect to really lower it and get it down here. It ends up just makes it a little slower. Yeah, that's a fun one. Strymon chorus pedal, Strymon Ola. This I use a lot throughout the night. This is more, I have 2 settings on it. This is my straight ahead setting. Maybe I'm just strumming chords on it. Right? And then over here, you can click the favorite switch. It already has a setting stored into it, and this is like my really watery sounding tone. I've heard people compare it to like a Schofield sound. DD7 classic pedal. Had this for a very long time as well. Over here, the FS5U controls the tap tempo on it. So typically, I have it up pretty high. Sometimes, if we're like doing like a kind of like a funky on the floor, 4 on the floor type of thing, I might really try to tap into that tempo, whatever Jagger's doing. Yeah, so it's fun to play around with throughout the night. Typically, it stays with where those settings are, unless we're doing something strange. But for the most part, that's where it is. Whammy pedal. This is always fun. Typically, have it on the octave setting, lower octave. And higher octave. Yeah, so it's fun to play around with those and get really kind of weird sounds with them, like keep them in the middle. Maybe we're doing some jam where we want to really make it sound like a riser, like to get the, maybe like a pork etiquette or something like that, where yeah, so I combine that a lot with the delay pedal. Yeah, love using that. You'll hear me use that a lot during the show. This guy I just really recently picked up. I still haven't quite dialed it in yet, but just a reverb pedal. Fairly new though. Still getting adjusted to it. There's some cool little things on here that. Like a shimmering sound. Freeze pedal, I use a little less now. I used to use this one a lot before I got the MIDI, which I'll get to in a sec. The freeze pedal, basically you play a note, freezes it over. So this was, I mean, I still use it a lot throughout a show. It's really textural, so a lot of times when people are like, oh, make sure to have a big sound for a trio. A lot of it has to do with this. Because you have that little extra layer that, you know, I could sit here. Just gives you a nice drone sound. I could change the note just by pressing it once. Yeah, so that's a cool one. But yeah, I don't use it as much anymore just because of MIDI over here. I started doing it a few years ago. Essentially, I run through Main Stage in a program called Jam Origin, MIDI guitar. what the program is able to do is able to take the signal from my actual instrument and transform it into a software instrument, into a MIDI sound. And that's all controlled over here through the FCB 1010. So that way, I don't have to be pressing the laptop while I'm playing. I can use my feet to control all the sounds over here. Typically, I'm switching between. It has a lot of patches on here. I don't use all of them throughout the night. Typically, I'm using like 2 or 3. This is like a nice like synth pad sound. Kind of sounds like string instruments. Yeah, so that really fills space. So now it sounds like, you know, there's a 4th member of the band. Essentially it is, because it's a completely split signal. When we're doing sound checks, it needs its own DI box, it's a completely separate instrument. Let's see, like Missing Midnight, I'll use this lead tone on it. Alright, got organs for something like Whomper. And then if I really want to, I don't typically do this too often. Sometimes I do though. This volume pedal over here, which ended up on my last pedal on the chain, where a lot of people, you know, put volume pedals in the beginning. The volume pedal, really, if I just really want to not play the guitar and only play the MIDI, I can take this out and put it all the way down, which controls the amp over here. Now you have no guitar signal at all. You only hear the MIDI. Again, not something I do often. I like to have guitar always in the mix. Right here is my volume knob for the MIDI sound itself. So depending on what we're doing, I'm able to control the actual volume of it. But there's a lot of cool different effects. If you ever seen our Halloween shows, a lot of times I'm using samples for, like, depending on what weird thing we're doing that year is. This past year in Spinal Tap, I was able to pre-record voices that had to do with the skit that we were doing, and I was able to control that all through this setup. So it's really, like, other than just sound effects, it could really do anything. A lot of time, like, I could use this type of sound. I do that sometimes when it's really, like, there's a jam that's way out there or something. I'll bring that into the mix. Yeah, that all gets controlled. That all comes through this Scarlet Focus right over here. Run it through the delay pedal. I can use the board to control the sounds over here also, which is cool. Fender Hot Rod amp, Hot Rod Deluxe, very reliable amp. I've had it for all the Big Shrimps touring years. Love using it. Fully tube amp. So one speaker. In-ear monitors. I run one in-ear. So I like to be able to hear through this one, right? And then I use my left ear to use a wedge. As these guys fall out a bunch. That's one of the reasons. One of the other reasons is I found that when we were fully on ear, at 2 ears, I felt it took energy away. Being able to actually feel crowd energy. I felt like it kind of put you all in the too much in the head and not enough interacting with the crowd. So that's why I took out the other ear. Also, just like I said, they're not molded, so they will fall out a bunch. So it's good to have a wedge up here for that. And then that all gets controlled also through my computer. We're able to multi-track and have all my inputs up over here, so I can make my adjustments as I need to throughout the night. And that pretty much sums up the rig. It's always changing. I'm always trying to stay up to date on what's coming out, and we as Baked Shrimp hope you can join us at an upcoming show. Great to meet new fans and whatnot, and I hope you enjoy the video, guys.